I traveled to Dagestan to see what makes it the world capital of terrorist training and recruitment. This is my debrief. Tamerlan Tsarnaev, one of the alleged Boston bombers, was sort of unhappy in America. He was getting more and more into Islam here. And when he went to Dagestan, they kind of made fun of him because he was, hardcore Islamic, but they're like, you don't even know how to pray, you don't know how to eat, you wear these weird clothes. So when he went there, he went through sort of a religious sort of indoctrination. So he went to the mosque, he went to many different mosques, radical as well as moderate. He learned how to eat, he learned. I saw phone footage of him at weddings, hanging out with his friends, and his friends were all sort of, hardcore Muslims, and so he definitely was involved in a lot of that. There's a lot of speculation of, was he in contact with the rebels there? Was he, in contact with the forest? The general consensus is that he wasn't, because if he was, the Spetsnaz, the sort of Russian special services, the Navy SEALs, if you will, would know it and would have killed him. Although they did give the information to the American authorities that, he was a person of interest. Dagestan is a small country, and everybody knows everybody else. We had contacted the family, and we wanted to talk to the family who are not speaking to journalists because their other son is still awaiting trial. We did talk to other family members, and by talking to the family and other family members, we found out about this guy, and he agreed, which was a surprise to us, to talk to us. He was a very sharp guy. He had been interviewed by the American authorities because he was friends with Tamerlan, and he was very sharp. Knew what our questions were going to be almost before we asked them, and he definitely wanted to get his point of view out there. So like I say in the piece, it's a perfect storm, because on one side you have Dagestani youth who want Sharia law, they want an Islamic state, going into the forest to fight for that. And on the other side, you have these sort of hyper-violent Spetsnaz, and they're fighting this sort of bitter, protracted war. And then you have the police, who are incredibly corrupt, sort of spurring more jihadis to go to the forest, who then have more, horror stories to tell about the Spetsnaz. So, and it goes on every day. In this environment, you have more and more terrorists being trained, but because they're fighting these special forces every day, they become great. They become great terrorists, which is a sad thing to say, but because the opposition is so good, and there's so many of them, that then they can go to Syria or go to Europe or come to America and be successful in their terrorist attacks, which is terrible, and something has to be done about it. Sadly, no. The police know that it's going to continue. The Spetsnaz know that it's going to continue. For sure, the jihadis know that it's going to continue until there's an Islamic State. I think that Russia is, doing all it can to sort of, suppress the rebellion, and it's not working, and there's no solution in sight in any near future.